everyone, and welcome to Fika for Life. Oh man, someone is having a coughing attack. It's not funny. Guys, we are having a good time here. My name is Linh and Edward, and my co-host is
Edward Thomas.
And we have our special guest again here.
Hello, Ionathan back here.
Yeah, Ionathan is back. And today we're going to talk about friendship from a different angle. So what we want to talk about is when lifelong friendships go different ways, different paths. No, so when you're being close friends and then life happens and you're moving to the periphery of one person, or you're put to the periphery.
Yeah, against your will.
So I think, experienced both. Like, I've been put into a periphery, and I don't know really why. And then I also know of a case when I put someone to periphery, and I know why. So what about you guys?
Nope. Everyone loves me. I'm in the center of their life.
Yeah, then I can talk. One of my biggest shock was when I came in Sweden, because I thought I have a lot of friends, and I thought I have a lot of good friends.
In Romania?
Yeah, in Romania, Romanian
you mentioned
friends.
Sweden. I was like, that's the problem.
No. And then I somehow ended up with no one, like alone. I just recently got married at a time. I was married for 3 months, and after the marriage, all the people that were around me left. They thought that if I got married, I will not be able to see them or go out, meet them. But also, this thing brought into my life other people that are now best friends. It somehow was an exchange. Yeah. But also it felt bad for some people that I grew up with, people that we used to go and sing carols for Christmas for days and so on. And suddenly everything ended up, and I'm like, why?
Did you ever get a why? Did you ever get an explanation?
No, I'm not looking for explanation. Everyone has his own reason, and I know that if I will go and ask for an explanation, people will just make excuses, and I don't want to hear excuses. It's up to everyone. It's like you cannot force a person to be in your life for more that they are willing to be.
Yeah.
But in my view, though, I always feel that if you have been friends with really close friends with someone for a long time, I still think that to honor that friendships, people should explain why they just put you out of their lives. I feel like that.
Yeah, if they have a good reason.
But maybe that's a girl thing.
But on the other hand, I shouldn't be a hypocrite. Let's be honest. I shouldn't be a hypocrite.
Why?
So, because I've been put by one of my friends to the periphery, and I never got an explanation why. Well, on the other hand, I also put another friend that was in school into periphery, and she actually asked me with a letter, like, why, and I never responded to her. So that's why I'm saying I shouldn't be a hypocrite. Wow. But the thing is...
this is something for you to do, answer that letter.
No, but the weird thing is, though, that... So we graduated from high school, and that's when the real break happened, because then we wouldn't see each other every day. But before that, we were already drifting apart. And then she apparently wrote that letter right after we graduated from high school, but she didn't send it to me until 7 years after.
Oh my God.
You know?
That's why she was kicked to the curb.
No, but that's the thing, like, and I feel that
that's horrible.
It's really hard. How can I recall my feelings from 7 years ago? Because the letter is written from how she felt that time when we graduated, and and the explanation she had was like, oh, I wrote this letter that time, I never got to send it, but now when I cleaned out my stuff, I found it again, and I thought because I wrote it to you, it should be sent to you. You can do whatever you want with it, you can reply to it, you can just burn it, whatever.
Women stuff.
What? Toilet paper?
So I don't know, I just felt like, okay, what, and I told my other friends who also knew her, and they're like, well, they were more like negative, like, oh, why would you answer that? Who cares? But I felt like maybe it's my Christian duty to answer it. But, to be honest, I haven't answered it to this day because I don't know what is the purpose? What do you want from me?
I used to journal a lot, so I always can just look back in my journal and just go, huh? This is why.
No,
But I was going to say, it's my turn.
Yeah, it's
Oh, it's your
Ed's turn. It's Ed's turn.
We were like three guys who used to hang out together. We were like the Three Musketeers all through high school. And then one of our friends just sort of drifted away. And we don't even know why. Just all of a sudden, he just wasn't part of our life anymore. It was this really weird thing. We just looked around like, it's just the two of us. Where is he at? And we hadn't heard from him until maybe like 6 years ago. And then he contacted us on Facebook and stuff. And like, because now we're all like approaching 60. And 3 years ago, he got like his first kid. And so,
Oh, wow.
so
He old.
I'm like, ooh. And he wants to have more kids as he's getting older. I was like,
Is that a good idea?
Yeah, but I think part of the problem for us was that at high school, like some of us, we changed. We changed jobs. We were doing other things, and he was kind of stuck in the same thing. Like he worked at the same job from high school for the next 2 years at least. And I think that was one of the things that we realized that we weren't exactly the same as we were when we started high school together. So it was kind of sad though, but you know.
Things happen.
But two of us are still together.
Yeah, but if it's about high school friends, I have a very good friend, and hopefully he will listen to this podcast. Sorry. And in the 9th grade, when we started high school, we ended up in the same class, and we realized that we're both Christians, and we were praying at school, we were reading the Bible at school, we were sharing sandwiches and so on. I mean, it was very, very strong connection between us, even though it was just a term, like half of the 9th grade. But then he moved to the Christian high school, and I kept going on the public one. And somehow we kept talking for a year or two, and then we didn't talk with each other for some reasons. But last year, I got in contact with him before Christmas, and I was like, I'm going to visit Romania, and I really want to see you. And we realized that even though 5-6 years passed since we didn't talk more than that, we realized that we have the same interest. We just realized that we lost precious time as friends, and now we are in contact again, and we just realized that we were too dumb to keep each other close in order to have a good friendship
relationship.
Yeah.
Wow.
I think I had a friend I studied with here in Uppsala, and we were really close friends. We started together, obviously, when you're in school together, and even after school, and we had a lot of activities together, and she went to church with me together. But at some point she stopped going to church, she stopped being a Christian, she just rejected Jesus, and I got more into Jesus. And that really was a turning point for our friendship, because I don't know, and she became really left-wing political, and I am more right-wing political, and I mean, at some point, you don't have anything in common anymore. No. And it's so sad. Yeah. Like, I feel sad, but on the other hand, like, she'll give me books from this Dawkins guy who just hates God. And I try to give her books from, Lewis guy. And I mean, we try to still connect, but it's really hard, though, because you don't have things in common anymore. And I think it's hard to be close friends then.
Yeah, like and I think sometimes you can become distant to someone. You're not really put on the periphery, but you just drift apart. So, like one of my oldest friends actually went to high school and junior high school together. We're friends throughout, most of our early adult life and everything. And it was really weird because we hadn't seen each other for a long time. And then my daughter, who was doing hair, happened to do her friend's hair, who said, Thomas, do you know a guy named Edward Thomas? And Jesse's like, yeah, it's my dad. Oh no, we went to high school together. I was like, okay. And I written to her because we were like really close. I mean, we were like really, really good friends. But I've written to her and she still hasn't like really answered or anything. And the last time I was home, she's like, yeah, we have to make sure we keep in contact. Okay. So I've written like 3 times to her and she hasn't answered back. And so I feel like,
maybe she wasn't really up for, let's keep in contact.
Yeah,
maybe.
I know, but I hate when people get in contact with you and they say, "Oh, let's get in contact, let's catch up,"
And then it never happens.
Yeah, and then you actually reach out and you're just like, "Okay, well, why did you say that then?"
Because it's the
Politically
correct,
correct
it's
stuff.
the correct thing to say and to do in that moment.
Yeah, maybe.
It's sad though.
You can't say to a guy that you just met after 10 years, like, "Oh, I hate you so much, I don't want to
Like,
see you again."
Bye, have a nice
yes, you
life.
can. You can say that.
Yeah, but
No.
some people can't.
Yeah. Well, but I think that, but I do have friends that I've had to put out from being so close to me. So I have a friend right now that's moving further and further into the periphery. And that's just because it just doesn't work. I'm tired of feeling, and this is like something that I felt like the last time when we had, the person had borrowed something from me. And then it took a long time. I never got it back. And it's something I had to replace for my job. So I had to spend, 2,800 crowns to replace the thing. And
That's a
and
lot
done
of
it.
money.
And the thing is that even after I explained to the person how important that was to me and how disappointed I felt and how that I felt like you say you're my friend, but you
Don't treat
you
me
don't
that
treat
way.
me that way.
Yeah.
And the person didn't offer any like concern, didn't even pay for anything. And I'm like, this is the second time now that it's cost me like a lot of money because we hang out together and you don't even like acknowledge that, but you go around and flaunting about how much money this costs or that costs. And so I just decided that, you know what, I like the person. I'm not mad at them or anything, but I just can't have that person being close to my life because having that much influence and taking up that much time just for all this kind of stuff to happen. So and I feel bad. I feel like a bad Christian. I feel like, maybe I'm being judgmental and I'm not being kind enough or something.
Yeah.
And at the same time, I'm like,
But we talked about it before that we shouldn't be doormats though.
no, you should not be a doormat.
So there should be a line.
Yeah.
So if people cross it, you have to have self-worth and say no.
But I haven't said anything to him. I
No.
just haven't really answered.
It's very Swedish of you.
No, because so Swedish. I'm like, no, I cannot make someone upset with me.
I just ignore them.
No, but I told the person, I'm like, no, I'm just really busy now, and I just don't have a lot of time right now. I have to prioritize things.
Other people who actually care about me.
Yeah, people who love me for real. No, but it's sad because you spend a lot of time with people, and sometimes it's not like you want the person to be there, and I'm sure a lot of people put me there. I'm just too stupid to notice.
You're like too busy. I'm too busy.
No, but I think I know so many people. So if you push me to the periphery, I'll be like, oh, okay. There's just other people just move up, So I think it's
renewing friends.
Yeah,
Sort of.
I mean, it's kind of weird, isn't it?
Yeah.
To
For me,
what?
it was like this kind of with renewing friends. For me, was very weird. Like people that we knew for 15 years, like since I know things, I remember those people. And like suddenly they're out of my life, and new people that came into my life since I got married or after I got married, we have a very good connection. We can talk. We can like do a bunch of things together. And it was very weird. Like why they had to leave. But I think it's kind of a way that we can grow ourselves in some ways, like spiritually.
I think it's part of adult life that people come and go, and it's painful. But as we talked about in the best friends forever thingy, I think that they're only like I only had friends for certain life periods, and then they go for several reasons. We don't become enemies, but then new people come in, and it's really tough though. And I think that's maybe when the difference between friends and family come up. Because family will always be your family.
Yeah.
Like you can't exchange your brother. You can't exchange your brother. You can't exchange your mother. Like it's not like they'll be there for 10 years and then they're gone and get your new mother. It doesn't work like that.
Just think that you could go to the relative store.
Relative
Trade in my brother for a new model. Thank you.
So you can't. So I think that's maybe difference between family and friends. They'll be around, even if you don't like them. If you're not really close to them, they'll still be holding the position your family, your brother, your sister, your
Exactly.
mother, your father.
Yeah, but still, like, I wouldn't change my brother now. I would change him when I was like 14, but not now. But still, it's like that feeling that, for instance, I know that my parents, because some friends that left, my parents were friends with their parents, so we used to visit
Okay.
every Sunday after service
Wow.
and eating dinner together, and Christmas together, Easter together. We spent a lot of time together, and suddenly something just didn't work. Like, just like that, we were not seeing each other, we were not visiting each other, and when we tried to get in contact, like, even though when I'm in Romania, I'm busy, and this kind of excuses.
Yeah.
But I think when you're a real friend, you make time to meet the other person no matter what.
Oh, when you told me that, or when you're telling this, I gotta remember, like, we had a wedding in Sweden, my husband and me, but then we also went to Germany to have like a announcement or something, and I almost cried when we had this gathering, and my parents obviously invited all their friends,
Right.
and I grew up with all. Like you, like on the weekends, even though we were not Christians, we still would meet up in the weekend and would eat together, and a lot of families and kids. And I almost cried because hang out with a lot of boys when I grew up, because all the families only had boys. Anyway, so they came, they were all dressed up, and they looked so nice, and I'm like, oh my gosh, you
Wow.
guys came, and I was like so happy to see them, and they were all adults now. We were all adults, but I got like this nostalgic flashback, like us hanging out, and we have known each other for so long, so it was really fun.
Yeah.
I gotta
Wow.
dig out this picture of us
Yeah.
and show you guys.
I'm very
My friends.
curious at how it's for you, that because you grew up in the States and now you're in Sweden, how is for you to go with keeping in touch with your
With one.
American friends.
American friends?
Do you have American friends?
I bleed on them.
US and
no,
A.
But I think like before, like Facebook has been like a really big help. If it wasn't for Facebook, I probably would not have any friends at all. Buying back in the States, because I just go and it's like,
Thank
can
you,
I
Mark
be your
Zuckerberg.
friend until someone says yes, No, but I think like, so for most of my friends, so when I come home, we usually get together. We go to an ice cream place called Fenton's, and we eat ice cream. And we usually we'll hang out for like 3 or 4 hours and just catch up, talk about life.
Man, how many
And
ice
it's-
cream do you eat?
A lot. And it's like we never stop being
Stopped,
friends.
yeah.
Yeah. So I have a large friendship groups. And so the people that are in this group are just cool people, like we all get along. And even though not everyone was in the same group, I was in like everybody's group, but because that's just how I am. When you're social like that, you have no group. You're a part of everyone's group. But I think that the things is that you're missing the everyday thing.
Yeah.
So we don't have a lot of everyday stories. We were talking about big things and general things that happen in our life. But I think for my friends back in the States, because they just can't relate to my life here in Sweden.
No.
It's just
Should come visit you.
only, my best friend Raymond is the only one who's come to visit me. I mean, Lisa was here, but she was another part of Sweden, which is really cool because my friend Lisa, last time I went to visit the States with my grandmother when she was alive, and Lisa came and visited my grandmother. Just how cool she was. Like, it's one of those things about her that I always remember. Like, she's always been that nice and that sweet since we were in high school together. Always been like that and still is. And those are those kind of friends that I can just, I know I can call my friends up. I just talked to my friend Donald. He showed a picture of his grandson, and so I have these like friends that we still share things like as much as we can digitally, but it's better than what it was like before the internet, where you just didn't know anything and it was impossible to know where someone's moved to. Or my friend Sylvia, who's living in France, she's come to visit actually.
Because France is closer
France
than
is
America.
closer, yeah.
Yeah.
But then part of the thing is having to know that is having to live with the fact that I can't be always as close as I used to be with my friends because I live here in Sweden. I probably could write more. I probably could spend more time on Facebook and on Instagram and stuff. But my life here is so different and so much more boring. So I mean, if you live in Sweden, you just don't have a lot to report every day. You go to work, you come home, I go to church, and
I have a lot to report all
Really?
the time.
My life's kind of really was the same, you know.
Because you're old.
But when I lived in the States, when I lived in the States, I had like adventures. There was always stuff that was
But
happening.
wasn't it also because you were younger then? And you didn't have as
Nothing to
much
do with
kids
age.
and stuff.
Had nothing to do with age. No. But I think that I think part of it is that because I don't have friends my own age, so I hardly have any friends who are like 55 to 59. Most of my friends are in you guys' age, 20 something.
Yeah, I'm 52 if you look backwards. I can be your friend.
If you walk backwards, you become an old man.
Yeah.
I'm 82. So
well, kids.
I'm 82.
But
I could be a ma.
people I know. Maybe we should do an episode if we were each other's parents. How that would be. That would be
God.
a really funny episode. If Lynn was my mother, I'd be like, I gotta go smoke weed.
No, son. It's not good for your health.
Exactly.
Just
She'd be like,
correct.
what are you doing? After all I've done for you, is that what you're gonna do? You're gonna pay me back my smoking weed? I'm sorry, Mom.
The shaming.
Exactly.
The shaming.
Shame.
I'll paint the house. The whole house. No, so I think that's been like one of the different things, and then having friends when I lived in Skellefteå. So I used to live in northern Sweden, but I haven't lived in northern Sweden now in
For a long
18
time.
years.
Yeah.
So that, I mean, we're friends, but we don't see each other. We don't really do anything with each other, and so you're kind of you're more of an associate. I mean, we're friends, but
You people, these are people that you know.
no, but there were people who I spent lots of time with before. It's just that my life is busy and my life is always in the now. So it's really hard for me to bring people into the now who aren't part of the now.
Oh, I'm the same. So that's why I usually tell people, like, when you move from here, I'm going to suck as a friend because I can't spend my day on Facebook and chatting and
No,
stuff.
I
I'm
just-
sorry. And people usually understand because I tell them I'm really busy. And they know I'm really busy. So
Yeah, but when you say things, people listen to you. I say it and people are like, but he doesn't really mean that. He's so friendly.
For me, it's like lately, after I moved to Sweden and I saw that I lost a connection with friends and so on, I took the decision that if I feel that the person would be a good friend of mine, like if we have the same interest,
Yeah.
then I would spend time writing to that person and try to get in contact, like show interest in our friendship.
Wow.
And if I get no response back, then I will just quit. But if I get response, then I will just try to...
Jonathan, it's really hard.
If you don't give a response, bye.
No. It's like, are people that you try to be friend with, but they are not interested to be your friend.
Yeah.
So this is
Bye.
something like you don't
Yeah.
waste your time. Hello, how are you? And he's like, it's like
Never responding.
Seen.
Yeah.
No,
Yeah.
you don't do that anymore. You just let it be.
Let it go.
Let
Yeah.
it go. Let it go.
No, but I think that I think sometimes you have to put friends on the periphery, and that's often when they've violated your space, they don't respect your boundaries, and sometimes people
Broke your
just
trust.
sometimes people just turn out not to be.
The people
Good
you
for
thought
you.
they were.
Yeah, I mean they were like that for that period, but in this new phase of life, they're not able to follow you in that part of the journey, and I think that's okay to understand that sometimes people are friends just for the moment.
A season.
Yeah, they're just friends of a season, as opposed to friends of the heart, who are always going to be friends in your life, even though you may not always live in the same place and see each other every day.
Yeah, I have two
Yeah.
German friends that are still like that
Yeah.
in Germany. Yeah.
So
Thank you, guys. We didn't want to end on a depressed note.
I know, we're all like,
No.
it's all like, oh yeah. Okay, 5 steps. If you need to kick your friend to the curb, and you need to push them from being close to you to being further away. Number 1,
Don't brush your teeth. Have bad breath.
and they lick their face.
Just joking. No.
Don't do that.
It's the acid. It's melting my face.
Okay, sorry, Ed.
Sorry.
Step 1.
Okay, step 1.
Don't
Step
talk
1.
with him anymore.
If you can, try to tell the person what they've done wrong.
Yeah.
But sometimes it's not possible if the person doesn't listen or whatever. So what? Number 2, try to see if it's a possibility to salvage the friendship. So
Find a
sometimes,
way to save it.
yeah, just if it's Sometimes you just need to talk things out. Sometimes it's a misunderstanding or whatever. Sometimes you're just in different phases of life, and that's just the way what it is. Yeah. Sometimes we just have to accept that. Number 3, if you're gonna push someone further, to the curb, get them out of the closeness of your relationships and stuff like that, think about maintaining the person's respect. So just, like respecting them and stuff as an individual.
Don't insult them. Don't treat them bad. Don't be
talk
mean.
crap about them behind their back and like, but I just kicked this person to the curb, if it's like that and it's like that. And if they ask you, number 4, and if they ask you, then obviously they're interested enough in the friendship to ask you, give them an answer. Even if you don't.
Don't be like me.
Yeah, don't be like Lynn. And don't answer at all. Just like she posts a letter up there on her wall. She's like, looks at it every day, throws darts at it.
No, that's not what I'm doing. I don't even know why the letter is now. Anyway.
No, but if you can answer, and if you can't, just say, like in this case, 7 years.
Yeah, I'm like,
then I would just be
sorry,
I would just write back and just say, you know what, it was 7 years ago. I don't really remember what I was thinking back then, but thanks for sending the letter to me. Our friendship, it meant a lot to me back then. Mm-hmm. But, and
then now, bye.
But it is what it is now. Bye. See ya. Click. No, but sometimes you have to do that. And I think that having a good system and treating people fairly is still a good thing. Mm-hmm. Well, I guess it's
Time's up.
Yeah. I want to go home and eat some food.
Again? You just ate.
I know, but I'm always hungry.
What do you have for food at home? Maybe I'll visit you.
Yeah, well, I made some fish stew and I had some sourdough bread. Fish. I love fish.
Okay, guys, thank you for listening.
Thank you for listening. Thank you, Jonathan, for being on our program again.
Thank you for inviting me again.
Don't forget to send in your questions and send in your responses. Don't forget to tell other people, because we have a goal that we want to reach over 10,000 people in the coming year.
Woo! Let's do this.
Yes. So, thank you for listening to Fika for Life.
Thank you for listening. If you have any comments or ideas, please send us a message to fikaforlife@mail.com. Fika, F-I-K-A. This was the Fika for Life podcast with Linh and Edward Thomas, and we hope to hear you again.